Got another connection code story for you. This one also is a Glenn and Phyllis story. So, time of this, they'd been married about 40 years and were working well into developing the connection codes. Happened just a couple of years ago. And they were at the ocean with the two of them and their youngest daughter. And Phyllis had always loved going to the ocean. It was one of the highlights. She loved to go. She loved to sit on the beach, watch the waves, all the things except get in the water. She would get in, to knees or ankles, but that's about as far as she would go. But yet, when they went to lakes or rivers, fresh water, she had no problem getting in. So Glenn had kind of asked her about it times over the years, and so it messes with my hair and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, that makes sense, and didn't really inquire any more about it. So this time they were sitting there, and their youngest daughter said, "Well, Mom, what happens with you when you think about getting in the water?" And she took a little bit of time to process through it and said, "I think it's a fear of sharks and jellyfish." And so they talked about it a little bit, and then later that day, I don't remember the details of it, but she went into the water a little further. And so just the processing of that, she kind of worked through some of the fear of it and was able to get out in the water. And so then they said that, it's like everybody was prunes because Phyllis never wanted to get out of the water. So for 40 years, Glenn and Phyllis had been married, and she had this fear of sharks and jellyfish, and she wasn't willing to get into the ocean and really experience the fullness of getting in there, the waves, the sand, all the different cool things. And she was telling, this is kind of like being in a spa or something like that. She was so excited about it. But the power of the connection codes was that her daughter asked her the question after 40-something years, why she didn't get in the water, and she was able to see and recognize the fear that was keeping her from getting in the water, and then to see, maybe that fear is not totally rational, and overcome it to get out into the water. And so it's just another little bitty example of the power of the connection codes. It's just those little breakthroughs in things in your life that have held you back for years and years and years, and just the power of sitting there, realizing what's happening, and being able to process them so that you can overcome them in a lot of cases. Not always, but in a lot of cases you can. So that's all for today. Thanks.